video, I wanted to go over my collection of knives, and to be honest with you, it's more of an accumulation as opposed to a collection. I never really went out of my way to buy any of these, with the exception of this one here. But that's neither here nor there. But let's start off in kind of chronological order. This one here is a Coleman. It's a little pocket knife, and I've had it for quite a while. As you can see, it's definitely seen better days. I had this one since I was a very little kid, and I was in the Boy Scouts, using this to, like, you know, whittle and everything like that. Before I get into it too, I've got some Mike and Ike's here that I'm going to be munching on throughout the video. As you can see, it comes with a lot of different accessories and all that, but this thing's in genuinely pretty sorry shape. I don't think I've really used it in God knows how long. And, oof, that's pretty rough right there. It's definitely fallen out of my everyday carry sort of tier, you know. It's definitely occupies my drawer space now more than anything. Now this next knife is a Gerber, and I didn't buy this knife. I kind of just found it lying around one day. As you can see, it's kind of covered in paint. I am not a painter, nor have I ever painted anything, so it's definitely not mine, but it was probably a painter's knife. Cutting drywall, maybe, who knows. But I found this when I was working for a packing company, like a moving company. And we, you know, move people into the houses, and I found this on the job one day. Well, I asked my boss about this, and it wasn't his, so he, just said keep it, so I did. I really haven't used it for much of anything, to be honest with you. I carried it when I was on the job there, so I used it to cut foam pieces to fit around corners of TVs and glass tabletops and all that, but that was about it. Only carried it for about a year, if that. But it's a fairly nice knife. You know, Gerber makes good knives, I'd say. Fairly good knives. So I'm just going to put that to one side there. This next knife was a gift to me. And yeah, my name is Brendan. That kind of dates me. A lot of kids my age, their parents name them Brendan or Brandon or something like that. This one is from Zion National Park, and it was a gift from my grandfather. It's honestly kind of a flimsy knife, and I never really carried it at all, or used it for that matter. I didn't really find a use for a knife with a mostly serrated blade like this. It's not really my favorite sort of edge, so I never wound up carrying it. I do want to make a trip out to Zion National Park at some point. I had well, I still do have a bit of an obsession with Zion National Park ever since I played Fallout New Vegas, and I saw the park depicted in game. It's a very beautiful nature reserve, and I got online and looked at photos, and I wanted to visit. But that's the souvenir knife. This next one is another gift from my grandfather. It's a skinning knife designed to help you skin deer or boar or elk or moose or any other animal that requires you to skin it. The way the blade is designed is to give you control over the knife edge and to be able to work it in, small areas of an animal or do delicate procedures with the knife. It's very sharp. I haven't really used it besides to open letters. I keep this one in a drawer beneath my desk, so it kind of gathers dust. I don't really use it for much of its intended purpose. Much to my grandfather's chagrin. When I do start deer hunting, I will be using this for that, though, for its intended purpose. He has a identical knife. That is, the idea was that we would go hunting together and be able to use our knives together, but that never ended up happening, unfortunately. Just like every redneck out there, I needed to get myself a pair of Leathermans or a multi-tool. These are a Gerber made one. Gerber suspension. I think this is another one of those 5-finger discount tools that I picked up. I'm not saying that I stole it, but I definitely didn't buy this thing. It spent a lot of time in my car's center console, waiting for an opportunity to arise where I'd need it. But no such thing has come up quite yet. It's good to have in case of emergency. If I need a set of tools, I know that I have at least this one. It's got a few different blades that I don't really know what the purpose of is. Some bottle openers, though. I know the purpose of that. A little saw blade. I think this side has the conventional knife blade on it. There we go. As well as some screwdrivers. A flathead and something or other. And a Phillips. As well as a kind of beat up rusty saw. A lot of these have not been maintained very well. I'll be the first to admit that. Especially the first knife. But this one, it's starting to get to the point where I need to do something with it. Restore it a bit. But I think I've actually used this thing for its intended purpose a few times, working on my black car, my 300 coupe. I think I used it to bend some wires or something for the main coil. Now these two aren't exactly knives. I guess you could say they're not like pocket knives conventionally. They're both utility knives. And I'm about to demonstrate to you the importance of safety. This is a blades like these, and it's very sharp. I don't really use this one anymore for anything because it wound up inside of my hand at one point. I wasn't being very careful, and I managed to cut open my hand here, if you guys can see. From here all the way down to here, it was 13 stitches to get that sewn back together, and it put me out of commission for a good couple months. You know, I was lucky to be able to keep the thumb, and I was lucky to not have cut lower on the arm, because if I cut that amount out down here, I would have most likely hit something major, some tendons or the veins or what have you. But luckily, after just getting the thing stitched up and no physical therapy or anything like that, I got full range of motion with the thumb again and all that. And it doesn't really hurt much at all. You know, nowadays, I don't even notice it, but from that day forward, I started using a safety razor on the job. Now obviously, using one of these isn't going to prevent that from happening again, but it'll make it a lot harder, especially when you use a safety glove in conjunction with using this knife. It also contains a tape splitter at the top here, and this guard allows the knife to, get fairly well stuck into boxes if you're cutting the tops off without coming out. Now this here really stretches the definition of pocket knife, but I, keep it around, so I guess it's gonna have to count today as a pocket knife. As you can see, this one's a mossy oak, and it's been well used. I actually bought this knife. I bought it off a buddy for about $20 or $30 back in high school. I also bought a gun off the same guy. I think I'll show you guys that gun in the next video. It's not like a Glock or anything, it's a pretty cool gun, but I bought this off the kid, and I don't really know where he got it. He might have stolen it, but it wound up in my hands. And I mainly use this for opening packages that come in the mail. That's really about it. It needs to be sharpened pretty badly. It's fairly dull. It's having a hard time cutting cardboard nowadays, but it's served me very well. It's a full tang knife, you can see through here. The blade goes all the way through the back of it. So if you needed to, you could baton it to cut wood without worrying about the knife breaking on a center joint or anything. It's a very sturdy knife. For the money I paid for it, I'm very pleased with the knife. I haven't gone camping in a while, but when I do go again, I'm going to be bringing this with me. It comes to a fairly sharp point. I think the last thing I really did with this thing was there was a homeless guy on my property, and he wanted something crazy, and I had to fucking get him off of there. And this is when I brought this out, but you can't always count on a knife against some rando on your property at 3 in the morning. really do like this one. It's been with me for years, probably about 10 years at this point. I've had the knife, and it's still just as good as ever. It's a really handy thing, you know. Like I said, sturdy, can be sharpened. I don't really know what sort of steel it's made out of, but it's comfortable enough in the hand, I guess. I can see it getting, you know, I can see it chafing your hand, but it comes with this handy little sheath that you can velcro the knife into, so it's secured in. And it's got a belt loop as well. So that's that knife. And now to the most recent knife that I've purchased. Before I get into that, I'm gonna pop another mic and mic in my mouth here. This is I guess you could call it a switchblade. Or a stiletto, or something like that. As you can see, it's completely spring-loaded, spring-driven. This little switch on the back operates the knife, and it does have a safety on it, so if I were to press this against something directly, that was a bad example because it just stuck all the way through these towels into the table. So I guess the safety has been messed around with at some point. I would not press this against somebody and try and shoot it out. In fact, I may not carry it in my pocket anymore. That was pretty sketchy. But I bought it off some Chinese guy in a flea market for, I think, $15 or something. Comes with like a glass breaker or something on the butt of it, and this pretty cheesy belt clip. Very stiff belt clip. But I brought it to my friend and former neighbor to get it sharpened. He said the metal on the blade is extremely soft, which I am not surprised about in the slightest. He, however, got this thing wicked sharp. Yeah, there we go. Sticking into my nail a little bit, but he got it very sharp. And he said, and I quote, "It won't stay sharp for long, but it'll stay sharp for what you need it to do." So I keep it on my person at all times, and I do actually use this thing quite often when I'm out and about to cut, you know, tape, electrical wire, fuel lines, open letters, cut cardboard, clean my nails, clean my teeth. I use it for almost everything. It's my everyday carry. So whatever I might need a knife for, when I'm out and about, you know, fishing especially. The cut fishing line, that was the most recent one. I went out fishing to a cow pond, and I was using this to cut the line. But whatever I might need a knife for on a daily basis, I've got this one to use. It's compact, it's not that heavy. It's no longer than any of these, you know, except that one. It's quite a bit longer than that one, but I'm not carrying this one ever anymore. It's definitely a lot smaller than this big old chonker here. No, I've got small hands, but this one is just a big knife, and I can't really carry that around all the time, so it suits my needs, this one here. So I think, with all of that said, I'm going to end the video here, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you like this style of video. And I hope to see you all again soon. And I hope you have a great